All right, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we take some really complex, fascinating sources and break them down so you can truly get the whole picture. Today, we are traveling up to a hilltop in the Kathmandu Valley to look at a monument where profound ancient myth literally collides with staggering financial realities. It's known to the world as Swayambhunath, or the Monkey Temple. We are going to explore its incredible history, the totally unique religious culture that surrounds it, and the literal gold, yes, pure gold, required to keep this World Heritage Site standing.
Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. Why tourists choose Nepal. 2. Origins of the Great Stupa. 3. Harmony of two ancient faiths. 4. The cost of heritage conservation. And 5. The iconic Monkey Temple today. Starting right off with Section 1, Why tourists choose Nepal. Now, I want to pose this question directly to you. Why do millions of people pack their bags and make the journey to Nepal every single year? Well, as our sources point out, Nepal is not just a destination. It's this breathtaking backdrop where ancient wisdom, dense cultural heritage, and modern environmental consciousness all converge. It's a place that draws people who are looking for profound peace and natural beauty, offering an experience that is deeply different from just your standard holiday. And that brings us to a vital concept that's really gaining traction: regenerative tourism. You see, visitors today aren't just looking to minimize their harm, they want their presence to actively restore, replenish, and revitalize the places they visit. The tourists drawn to the deep spirituality of Kathmandu are increasingly aware of their footprint, and honestly, there is perhaps no greater symbol of the heritage they come to experience and protect than the Great Stupa.
Moving right along to Section 2, Origins of the Great Stupa.
The name itself is actually super fascinating. Swayambhu literally means self-existent or self-arisen, and Nath means Lord or protector. So Swayambhunath translates to the Lord who is self-arisen. For Buddhists, this site is considered a Mahachaya, a great stupa, representing the Adi Buddha, which is the primordial self-arisen Buddha. The whole thing is built on the belief that this sacred space was not originally placed there by human hands, but that it manifested completely naturally.
Now, to really grasp that manifestation, we have to look at the ancient Buddhist text, the Swayambhu Purana. It describes how the Kathmandu Valley was once covered by a massive lake, and in the very center of this lake grew a divine, glowing lotus flower. The legend says that Bodhisattva Manjushri, a disciple of Buddha, saw this miraculous light. To make the site accessible, he used his sword of wisdom to literally slice a gorge at Chobar. The water drained out, creating the Kathmandu Valley as we know it, and the lotus settled right on the hill where the stupa stands today, transforming into an eternal, self-existent flame. It's an incredible story. Now, what's really interesting about this timeline is the sheer scale of time we are dealing with here. The stupa is believed to have been originally constructed around 250 BC. Guys, that's over 2 millennia ago. In the 15th century, it saw major reconstruction by an Indian monk named Shariputra because it had fallen into rough shape. Then, in the 17th century, the powerful King Pratap Mala built the famous Eastern Stairway. And jumping all the way to the modern era, in 2010, it underwent a massive, multi-million-dollar gold renovation. This structure has survived earthquakes, severe weather, and centuries of human history. Which brings us to Section 3, Harmony of Two Ancient Faiths. You know, Nepal's religious landscape is truly remarkable. Swayambhunath isn't just a Buddhist site, it is a profound symbol of religious harmony. You literally have Buddhist monasteries and Hindu temples existing in complete cultural unison. Devotees come to honor the 5 Jnani Buddhas, representing different aspects of enlightenment. But right nearby, Hindus and Buddhists alike worship Harati Mata. You have shrines to the Bodhisattva of compassion, sharing the exact same complex with shrines to Ganesh, the Hindu remover of obstacles. Thousands of people visit in absolute harmony, spinning prayer wheels and lighting butter lamps side by side.
All right, let's look at Section 4, the cost of heritage conservation.
We're going to pivot sharply here from ethereal myth to some hard, pragmatic realities. By the early 2000s, the gilded copper sheets covering the stupa had severely worn out after nearly a century of exposure to sunlight, cold, rain, and, believe it or not, actual damage from the local monkeys. To fix this, it required a massive global effort. The 2010 major renovation, which was the first since 1921, was entirely funded by an international donor, the Tibetan Nyingma Meditation Center, based all the way in California. So, the crucial point here is this staggering number, 20 kilograms. That is the amount of pure gold it took to regild the shrine. We're talking about millions of dollars just in raw materials alone, carefully managed and monitored by local community organizations to ensure absolute transparency. And here's the thing, applying that gold isn't like painting a house. It requires an incredibly intense, highly skilled metallurgical process. First, every single damaged copper sheet had to be carefully documented, unscrewed, and removed. Next comes a traditional process. The gold is cut into tiny pieces and blended with mercury and an acidic fruit juice to create a paste called qipao. Then, this paste is applied to the copper and fired with gas burners. The heat burns off the toxic mercury, leaving behind just the pure gold layer. Finally, it's hand-polished using agate brushes in a soapy water bath made from a traditional fruit called hathan. You can actually see the archival evidence of this intense labor right here in these images from the conservation project. Workers are meticulously cutting the gold and blending it into that mercury paste in stone bowls, while specialized gilders are firing the metal plates. Because burning mercury creates highly toxic vapors, these workers actually had to wear specialized gas masks. It is immense, dangerous physical labor happening entirely behind the scenes just to preserve the aesthetic and spiritual glory of the monument.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why they went through all that trouble. Look at this stark before and after of the Vajra and Mandala. You have the dull, weather-beaten metal compared to the brilliant, shining gold restored to its absolute original glory. It provides massive visual justification for those million-dollar investments, proving the incredible results of the local conservation team's hard work.
Bringing us to our final part, Section 5, the iconic Monkey Temple today. So what is it actually like to visit today? Well, it engages literally all your senses. You can ascend the steep 365 stone steps, one for each day of the year. As you climb, you'll immediately see why it's nicknamed the Monkey Temple. The hill is home to hundreds of rhesus macaques. According to local lore, these monkeys are sacred, believed to be the transformed disciples of Manjushri. But seriously, keep an eye on your belongings. They are notoriously mischievous. At the top, you can spin the prayer wheels, and if you go at sunrise before 7 a.m., you'll experience this tranquil, spiritually charged atmosphere perfect for meditation. I want to leave you with a final thought, tying this all back to where we started with regenerative tourism. We've seen the ancient myth of the lotus flower. We've seen the beautiful harmony of Hindus and Buddhists worshiping together. And we've seen the 20 kilograms of gold and the sheer human effort required to fight back the decay of time. So, the big question is, when you visit a site like this, how will you contribute to its legacy? How do we, as global travelers, ensure that self-horizon wonders like Swayambhunath survive for another 2,000 years? Think about that next time you're planning a journey. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep staying curious.